From the JAMA Network, this is the JAMA Medical News Podcast, discussing timely topics in clinical medicine, biomedical sciences, public health, and health policy, featured in the medical news section of JAMA.
On today's show, we're discussing the surprising trajectory of the latest COVID variant under monitoring by the World Health Organization. I'm Jennifer Abbasi, Director of JAMA Medical News. Lead Senior Staff Writer Rita Rubin is here to talk about her story. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Jen.
In the more than 6 years since the virus first emerged, multitudes of SARS-CoV-2 variants have come and gone, sticking around for a few months and then dropping out of circulation. But Cicada, what some are calling the highly mutated Omicron subvariant BA.3.2, has had a different path.
The variant BA.3.2 really has been marching to the beat of its own drum. It was first identified in South Africa a year and a half ago, in November 2024. Today, BA.3.2 is still circulating, although it's been keeping a pretty low profile. In fact, its profile is so low that it has yet to be singled out on the CDC's variant tracker as of this recording. T. Ryan Gregory, the Canadian evolutionary biologist with a knack for coming up with memorable nicknames for SARS-CoV-2 variants, is the person who dubbed BA.3.2 Cicada. That was right around the time the WHO designated it a variant under monitoring at the end of last year. Of all the catchy nicknames he's conceived, Gregory told me, Cicada might be the one that best reflects its variant's biology. Periodical cicadas are the red-eyed insects that emerge only every 13 or 17 years in eastern North America. BA.3.2 didn't emerge until nearly 3 years after its immediate ancestor, BA.3, disappeared in early 2022. In the U.S., the cicada variant didn't emerge until months after it was initially identified in South Africa. And the first U.S. case was detected in June of last year in an individual who'd flown in from the Netherlands, where BA.3.2 had been circulating for a couple of months. But the first time cicada was detected in a U.S. patient specimen wasn't until January of this year, so like half a year later.
So what's important to know about BA.3.2 clinically?
Well, its spike protein, the part of the virus that binds to human cells, is greatly mutated compared with JN1 and its offspring LP81, and those are the two variants targeted by the current COVID-19 vaccines. Laboratory studies show that cicada is highly immune evasive. Fortunately, though, immunologist Dr. David Ho told me that the COVID-19 vaccines that we're currently used are still effective in protecting against serious illness from BA.3.2 infection. And although the mutations in its spike protein may make it better at escaping the immune system, they also make it worse at binding with human cells in the first place.
So Rita, how could this variant, Cicada, not emerge until nearly 3 years after its progenitor, BA.3, dropped out of circulation? Where was it hiding during that period?
Well, experts told me that, like most SARS-CoV-2 variants, BA.3.2 is thought to have emerged in a single individual who had a persistent COVID-19 infection. Now, that person was likely immunocompromised and unaware that they were still infected, or possibly even unaware that they were ever infected, because they no longer had any respiratory symptoms, and they wouldn't even test positive on a nasal swab. BA.3 probably hid out in their gut for years, and as it continued to replicate, the spike protein picked up many random mutations, giving rise to Cicada.
Your story also touched on how changes in testing and surveillance may be affecting our intel on which SARS-CoV-2 variants are circulating and where.
In the U.S. and elsewhere, fewer people than ever are testing for SARS-CoV-2, so we have fewer specimens to collect for sequencing. Plus, funding for disease surveillance has been cut, leading to concerns about being prepared for the next pandemic. As of mid-March, BA.3.2 had been detected in wastewater from 29 U.S. states, but we really can't be sure that it's not circulating in any of the remaining states.
Thanks, Rita. If you'd like to learn more, we'll include a link to Rita's story in the show description. This week, we're also bringing you a story about dueling autism research committees. A new group has formed in the U.S. in response to changes to a long-standing federal committee. You can find that and all of our stories at JAMAmedicalnews.com. Thanks to Rita Rubin for joining me. I'm Jennifer Abbasi. This episode was produced by Shelley Steffens at the JAMA Network. To follow this and other JAMA Network podcasts, please visit us online at JAMAnetworkaudio.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again next week.
This content is protected by copyright by the American Medical Association with all rights reserved, including those for text and data mining, AI training, and similar technologies.